Okay. So this is part two of our talk because power. So go ahead.
Um, sort of lost where I was going. um,
Well, we were talking about the issue of um, learning to get ourselves into a proper state of satisfaction rather than, uh, here's a way of saying it, and that is being satisfied with being dissatisfied. But you're looking at it upside down in the sense of being dissatisfied with being satisfied. And so the beginner or those who are not practicing, they'll say, well, I'm satisfied with being dissatisfied, and off they go. Or they're satisfied with being dissatisfied, and that's what they call uh, a choiceless awareness. In other words, I'm satisfied enough that I'm not going to make any choices about the dissatisfaction that I have to live or put up with. But here you come to the point of, oh, now you're dissatisfied with being able to practice correctly and become satisfied. So now we need to make just one more small adjustment, and that is to become satisfied with what satisfaction you've got. Now that should make sense.
yeah, it definitely does.
And yet, being satisfied with where we are now, many people say, well, wait a minute, that means I can't make any progress. The answer is, wait a minute, you've already gotten yourself to the holy state. Why do you want to leave? And so it it's that concept of now going from one holy state to the next holy state just by remembering that, oh, I can be in a state of holiness. Now, I'm using the word holy here, not in a Christian or magical term, but in the term of being whole, being unified, being satisfied. And so the first thing that we were doing was getting out of the hindrances as the first item on the list. And the second one is getting the mind fit for work so that it can see, apply the mind to wholesome thoughts, including this satisfaction that we're talking about, and then sustaining it on that so that no hindrances are able to come back in. So we begin to get on guard. So we also add deep breathing to that because that helps gets the mind fit for work. So now we have the mind fit for work so that we have the ability to apply the mind and sustain it on something. We also are free from hindrances. And now we start working on the feelings itself. Because the thoughts that we have are positive thoughts. The thoughts we're having are actually affirmations like, aha, I caught you, or oh, what a wonderful world, or this is really nice. And taking a deep breath and sighing. And pretty soon, then, a deeper joy starts to arise, um, not on its own or magically, but we're coaxing it. We're breathing into it to allow it to arise, and that can be thought of in several ways. One is that it begins to be the right attitude, that you become satisfied with your practice, and then you say, "Okay, I can do it." That this is success. I can't throw not just one or two of the hindrances out; I can throw them all out, and now I'm completely satisfied. I'm not in that state of being satisfied, but dissatisfied with being satisfied. I'm really liking this. This is it. This is the winner. This is the win. This is the job well done. And we are pleased with this job well done. That's what is referred to as piti, or um, the feeling of accomplishment. a feeling of being able to do the job and get her done. And what was the job of getting done? Getting ourselves into a state of satisfaction. And so now the satisfaction and the rapture, or the other way of looking at it is that when we have that great joy of the win, because we know that we can do this, then that allows us to have the real deeper satisfaction, the satisfaction that comes with the win. So that's the second layer of satisfaction that's coming in. So now we have all of the 5 jhana factors gathered together. What are they? It is the rapture and sukha that's born of seclusion with a mind that's fit for work because you can apply it and sustain it. Now, along with that is the breathing. And so now we have the body, the feeling, and the mind working together, cooperating together to manage this fleeting moment. Because then we begin to see that this moment is fleeting. It's constantly in flux. It's constantly changing. Isn't that marvelous? That life is not a photograph. It's a full-on blown movie. And that we begin to see it that way. And this present moment is the playing of that movie, one instantaneous frame after another. And so things are really complex. There's wind blowing on the skin. I can feel the leg. I can feel the arms. I can see the greenery. When I look out, I can see a million different colors of green. That's an exaggeration, but you get my point. A better way of saying it would be countless, because who's going to bother to count all the different colors? But it's marvelous to be in this present moment and to know that you're successful at bringing yourself out of whatever state that you were into, including seriousness, or being dissatisfied with satisfied, or being dissatisfied with being satisfied, and just love it. Just, oh, this is so nice. And so we actually need to practice getting into that state while we're sitting.
That's what it is, practice. It's like you have to continually apply it though, and then realize that when you're getting into a strop about applying effort, that's a hindrance itself, and you should celebrate noticing that.
Precisely.
I guess I just
go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to say, I guess I just had this idea of like, yeah, and eventually, it's that idea that eventually I just have to stop doing it, and then continually going into that, there's just this boundary. That's what the path is, continually doing it. Like you've said, like we have our mound of dirt and we have to come out of it and practice coming out of it though.
Precisely. Or going into it, depending upon our viewpoint. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Well, do you have any other questions?
Not really. One of them. No, we could wait for another call. Honestly, I think I got enough what I needed out of this, and I know I can take what I need to do and take it into my practice.
Great. Well, I'm glad to hear that things are finally clicking for you. That's good. When you said clicking, I thought of a revolver, and I says, okay, basically we've spent all of these weeks and months together learning how to put a revolver together and make bullets and get the darn thing loaded. And now you've got it cocked. And I'll leave it at that.
Good point.
So go have a bang up time. We'll see you later.
Bye, Dhammarato.
Bye
Have a
bye.
great day.